How do you add power steering to a vintage truck? Thinking about making your vintage truck easier to steer? Adding power steering can transform how you drive your classic or vintage truck, especially if you're planning a custom build. It's a popular upgrade for those wanting a more modern feel while keeping the vintage look. Let's walk through how you can do it step by step. First, you need to pick a power steering conversion kit that matches your truck's make, model, and year. These kits usually include a power steering gearbox or rack and pinion, a pump, hoses, brackets, and hardware. For many vintage trucks, especially Chevrolet and Ford models, Saginaw-style pumps and 500 series power steering boxes are common choices because they are reliable and fit well. Start by removing the original manual steering components. This means taking out the manual steering box or gear and sometimes the steering column coupler. Be careful to keep all mounting points intact for the new parts. Next, install the new power steering gearbox or rack and pinion. You'll need to bolt it to the frame or engine block using the brackets included in your kit. Some engine blocks already have threaded holes for mounting the pump bracket, but if not, you might need to drill and tap new holes. Then, mount the power steering pump onto the engine using the supplied bracket. The pump is driven by a belt connected to the crankshaft pulley. You might need a new pulley or to modify the existing one to fit the pump properly. Once the pump is in place, connect the high-pressure and return hoses from the pump to the steering gearbox. Routing these hoses correctly is important to avoid leaks or interference with other parts. After that, connect the steering shaft to the new power steering box. You might need to modify or replace the rag joint to make a proper connection. Once everything is bolted up, fill the system with power steering fluid. Then, turn the steering wheel fully left and right several times to bleed out any air trapped in the system. This step ensures smooth operation and prevents leaks. Some builders prefer electric power steering systems, which replace the hydraulic pump with an electric motor. These systems are simpler to install because they don't need hoses or fluid. Instead, they use wiring and an electronic control unit. This option can be a good choice for those wanting a cleaner look and less maintenance. For larger trucks and 18-wheelers, make sure the power steering components are heavy-duty enough to handle the extra load. Proper steering geometry is also vital for safe handling. Upgrading to power steering can be combined with suspension or brake upgrades for a more comfortable, modern driving experience. In short, adding power steering involves selecting the right kit, removing manual parts, installing the gearbox and pump, routing hoses correctly, connecting the steering linkage, and bleeding the system. This upgrade makes driving vintage trucks much easier, especially for larger models, giving you a more enjoyable and safer ride on today's roads.